This is the Excellent Sports Adventure.
Brought to you by moregolf.ca. Well, that was a game they pretty much had to have, and they gutted it out for the second game in a row. The Leafs fell behind early, but this time they were able to dig themselves out. The big guns all had an impact in Game 5. John Tavares and Willie Nylander had their best playoff games in blue and white. Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews teamed up for the game winner. The defense rose to the occasion. Justin Hall vindicated his coach. Jack Campbell was sensational. Of course, the Bolts rallied in Game 6. No surprise. We called the Leafs in 7. That goes on Saturday night. It's been a rough May for the Blue Jays. Series losses to the Yankees twice and the Guardians, and they got jobbed by the umpires on a nightmare soiree in the Bronx. After giving up a game-tying 3-run homer, Jimmy Garcia pitched inside to Josh Donaldson. Garcia got tossed, as did pitching coach Pete Walker. Next inning, the Yankees dealt inside on Bo Bichette. Manager Charlie Montoya made a comment about it, and he got the boot. Jays ended up losing the game on a 3-run Aaron Judge homer in the 9th off a usually rock-solid Jordan Romano. You know what? This was not fun.
I'm going to tell you exactly what they told me. So that the reason they thought that Jimmy Garcia threw at Donaldson was because Heineman and Donaldson were yelling at each other in the 5th inning or something. So we decided, they thought we threw at Donaldson in the tie game after the home run. I'm just telling you what they told me, and of course we were upset because we didn't think that was right. Then when Bo got thrown out the head, we said something, but then I got thrown out because I'm not supposed to argue warnings. So that's what happened. Yeah, Romano's been one of the best closers. If he's not the best, he's one of the best closers in baseball, and that's a team that's playing good, and you walk a couple of guys, usually you're going to be in trouble, and so he made a bad pitch. I didn't really see it really good because I was in the clubhouse, but he that's going to happen to closers when you keep facing the same guys, so I got nothing to say bad about Romano. He didn't have it.
Well, they needed overtime, but the Toronto Rock punched their ticket to the NLL's Eastern Conference Final. What a crazy game at First Ontario Centre. The hometown Rock roared out to a commanding lead. It was 9-3 at one point. The Halifax Thunderbirds kept chipping away. In fact, the Birds rallied to take the lead, but Tom Schreiber, their sharpshooter, would tie it up, and Captain Challen Rogers closed the deal in overtime as the Rock eke out a 14-13 victory. They're in Buffalo Sunday for Game 1 of the conference final. It's a best of 3. Another setback for Toronto FC, but the refs had a hand in this one. Jaden Nelson scored a goal that was disallowed. It shouldn't have been. The Reds lost 1-0 to Vancouver. They're home to Orlando on Saturday. She's back. After taking a year off to heal from injuries, Mississauga's Bianca Andreescu has reached the quarterfinals of the Italian Open, her 4th final in a row. She has rolled over the competition, hasn't dropped a set in this event. Felix Auger-Aliassime also reached the Elite 8 in Rome, and Denis Shapovalov ran into Rafa Nadal, who just happens to be the greatest clay court player of all time. Our record-setting performance in women's shot put this week, Sarah Mitten eclipsed the 19-meter mark for the 3rd time this season, and this effort at the Golden Horseshoe Prep Meet was particularly impressive. 19.58 meters. That is a new Canadian record, 30 centimeters further than the previous mark for the 25-year-old Canadian. Coach Rich is ecstatic. The CFL Draft was held this week. The Argos used their first pick, 6th overall, to grab Gregor McKellar, an offensive lineman out of St. Francis Xavier. They took defensive lineman Deontay Knight and running back Daniel Adeboye with their 2 second runners. Adeboye was very excited. He tweeted out, "Still cannot believe I was drafted by the team I grew up loving. God is so good, and I'm eternally grateful. Thank you to the entire Argos organization for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to come back home and play the game that I love. The Ticats traded their first rounder, taking Queens defensive lineman Anthony Frederico in round 2. Syracuse linebacker Tyrell Richards was selected first overall by Montreal. Richards is a native of Brampton. He had 54 tackles and 6 sacks in 31 career games for the Orange. It was Box Fest at the Owl's Nest, a great 4-bout card at Red Owl Boxing in Brampton. Yes, I had the pleasure of doing a blow-by-blow commentary with former world champ Steve Molitor and boxing podcaster Francis for Buzz TV Live. In the main event, Toronto's Zolt Durrani claimed what we expected will be a multitude of titles, an impressive display of power by the Phenom as he stopped Montreal's Flavio Michel in the second round to grab the Canadian welterweight belt. Durrani, who is a protege of Lennox Lewis, improves to 17-1 with a 16th KO. On the undercard, Scarborough's Methuselah Mahinda stopped Wayne Smith to remain undefeated. Adrian Bembridge is 4-0 after a unanimous decision over Mexico's Edgar Romero Mora, and Bonnie Hunter pounded out a win over Maricruz Gomez Soto, also from Mexico. Great show by Red Owl and Buzz TV Live. Lucas Body of Niagara Falls, by the way, upped his record to 11-0 with a TKO win in Halifax. Nice to see Mackenzie Hughes bounce back, a top 10 finish at the Wells Fargo. Now, here's our shot of the week, number 12 at Windance.
All right. 141 yards to the flag. Men's night. Opening day.
Looking good. Right side. Pin high.
There it is.
Get in the hole.
God damn it.
4